State of Tech, the European edition. I'm Samantha Lawrence.
And I'm Bob Russell. Today, Anthropic launches a massive cybersecurity initiative with its most powerful AI model. China rolls out a national plan to put AI in every classroom. Intel unveils a breakthrough gallium nitride chiplet for the AI era. New research shows AI could spot diseases years before symptoms appear. Elon Musk's xAI takes Colorado to court over AI regulation, and Amazon drops $25 billion on data centers in Mississippi. Let's start with cybersecurity.
So Anthropic has just announced something called Project Glasswing. And the core idea here is pretty striking. They have this unreleased AI model, Claude Mythos Preview, that they actually held back from public release because its hacking capabilities were considered too dangerous.
And now, instead of shelving it entirely, they're flipping the script. They're using it defensively. Anthropic is partnering with 11 major organizations. We're talking Google, Microsoft, AWS, JP Morgan Chase, NVIDIA, and giving them access to Mythos Preview specifically to find and patch critical software vulnerabilities before the bad guys do.
The money behind this is substantial too. Up to $100 million in usage credits for the model, plus $4 million in direct donations to open-source security organizations. This isn't a small pilot project. This is a coordinated, well-funded campaign.
And it's already getting attention at the highest levels. There have been meetings between U.S. financial leaders and federal officials about what advanced AI means for cybersecurity going forward. The concern is real. If a model like Mythos Preview can identify vulnerabilities this effectively for defense, imagine what a similar model could do in the wrong hands.
Which is exactly the tension, right? You build something powerful enough to protect, and it's inherently powerful enough to destroy.
That dual-use problem is the defining challenge of this era. But credit where it's due. Anthropic chose not to release the model broadly, and instead built a controlled framework around it. That's a meaningful decision.
Now, from a European standpoint, this matters hugely.
Europe has its own cybersecurity directives, NIS2, the Cyber Resilience Act, and the AI Act layered on top of that. If defensive AI tools like this prove effective, European companies and governments are going to want access. But the question becomes, under what terms? Because right now, this is an American company deciding who gets to use the most powerful cyber defense tool on the planet.
And European critical infrastructure, energy grids, banking systems, healthcare networks, they face exactly the same threats. So there's going to be pressure for either inclusion in initiatives like Glasswing or the development of equivalent European capabilities, neither of which happens overnight.
The broader point is that cybersecurity is no longer just firewalls and patches. It's an AI arms race now, and Europe needs a seat at that table.
Let's shift to education. China has just unveiled what it's calling an AI plus education national strategy, and the scope is enormous.
The Ministry of Education wants dedicated AI courses in primary and secondary schools. Not just coding clubs or electives, actual curriculum integration. AI concepts woven into science, math, humanities. And at the university level, every student, regardless of major, will encounter AI in their studies.
They're also pushing after-school AI programs and using AI tools to enhance teaching itself. Intelligent grading, automated tutoring, personalized Q&A systems. This is a top-down, nationwide mandate.
And this is very much part of China's broader strategic playbook. They see AI as the economic engine of the next few decades, and they're investing in the human capital to match. When you train an entire generation with AI literacy from age 6, you're building a workforce that thinks in AI natively.
The scale is what gets me. China has over 200 million students in primary and secondary education alone. If even a fraction of this plan succeeds, you're looking at a pipeline of AI-literate talent that dwarfs anything the West is producing right now.
And for Europe, this should be a wake-up call.
European education policy is mostly set at the national or even regional level. There's no equivalent EU-wide mandate for AI in schools. Some countries are ahead: Finland, Estonia. but many are still debating whether to teach basic digital skills properly.
The risk is that in 10 years, Europe is competing for AI talent against a Chinese workforce that grew up with it baked into their education from day one. That's a structural disadvantage that's very hard to close after the fact. If there was ever a moment for a coordinated European AI education push, this is it.
Quick interruption. If you listen to The State of Tech regularly, hit that like button and subscribe. That way you'll never miss an episode. Okay, moving on.
Intel Foundry has just unveiled something that sounds small but could be very significant. The world's thinnest gallium nitride chiplet.
Gallium nitride, GaN for short, is a material that's been gaining ground in power electronics for years. It handles power conversion far more efficiently than traditional silicon. Less heat, less wasted energy, higher performance.
And Intel is now packaging this into ultra-thin chiplets as part of its push to become what it calls a systems foundry for the AI era. The idea is that these GaN chiplets will be critical components in next-generation AI accelerators and power management units, the stuff that keeps data centers running without melting.
Because that's the bottleneck, isn't it? AI workloads are incredibly power-hungry. Anything that improves efficiency at the chip level has cascading benefits. Lower electricity costs, smaller cooling systems, denser computing.
It's Intel trying to carve out a competitive niche. They've struggled against NVIDIA and TSMC in some areas, but advanced materials and integration, that's where they're placing their bet.
For Europe, this connects directly to the European Chips Act. There's been a massive push to build domestic semiconductor capacity. If Intel's GaN chiplets become standard components in AI hardware, European companies designing AI systems will need access to this technology.
And it could open doors for European material science research, too. GaN isn't the only advanced material in play. There's silicon carbide, diamond substrates, all sorts of next-gen stuff. European universities and research labs are genuinely strong in this space. The opportunity is there if the investment follows.
Next up, AI in healthcare, and this one is genuinely exciting. Researchers have published work showing that AI can identify so-called tipping points for diseases, long before patients feel anything is wrong.
The idea is that diseases don't just suddenly appear. There are subtle shifts happening in your body's biomolecular networks, tiny signals buried in enormous amounts of data. Genomics, medical records, imaging, even wearable device data. AI can sift through all of that and spot the patterns humans simply can't see.
And the big players are already moving on this. OpenAI, Anthropic, Amazon, Microsoft, Epic Systems, Oracle Health, all of them are launching or expanding dedicated health AI products. We're talking about AI agents integrated into clinical workflows, administrative systems, the whole ecosystem.
This shifts healthcare from reactive to predictive. Instead of treating diseases after diagnosis, you're intervening before the disease fully develops. That's a fundamental change in how medicine works.
For European healthcare, the potential savings are enormous. Public health systems across the EU are under constant financial pressure. Catching diseases early is almost always cheaper than treating them late.
But there's a tension with data privacy. These AI systems need vast amounts of personal health data to work effectively. Under GDPR, that's a minefield. European regulators will need to find a balance between enabling life-saving AI and protecting patient privacy. It's doable, but it requires smart, proactive regulation rather than blanket restrictions. Elon Musk's AI company, xAI, has just sued the state of Colorado over its new AI regulation law.
This is Senate Bill 205, one of the first state-level attempts in the U.S. to regulate high-risk AI systems and prevent what the law calls algorithmic discrimination. xAI argues the law is unconstitutionally vague and infringes on free speech, particularly as it applies to their Grok model.
And this is a big deal because it's essentially a test case. If xAI wins, it could chill AI regulation efforts across the U.S. If Colorado wins, it sets a precedent that states can impose meaningful guardrails on AI companies.
The free speech argument is interesting. xAI is essentially saying that AI outputs are a form of expression, and regulating them amounts to censorship. That's a legal theory that hasn't been fully tested yet.
From a European perspective, the EU AI Act is already in place, so Europe isn't waiting to see what happens in American courts. But the legal arguments being tested here, especially around vagueness and free expression, could absolutely influence how EU member states interpret and enforce their own rules.
And it highlights a philosophical divide. Europe has generally leaned toward precautionary regulation. The US is now seeing pushback from companies arguing that regulation itself is the problem. How this plays out will shape the global approach to AI governance for years. All right, last one. Amazon is pouring $25 billion into data center expansion in Mississippi. 2,000 new jobs, massive new facilities.
And here's the detail I love. Their Canton campus is aiming for 100% recycled wastewater for cooling by 2027. They're literally going to cool their AI servers with treated sewage water.
There's something poetic about that. The most advanced AI systems on the planet, running on recycled wastewater in rural Mississippi.
It shows you where the industry is heading, though. The demand for data center capacity is so intense that companies are building in places you wouldn't traditionally associate with big tech, and getting creative about sustainability because they have to. The energy and water requirements are staggering.
Amazon has also been investing heavily in European data centers, over 33 billion euros in Spain alone. So this isn't just an American story. The infrastructure race is global.
For European customers, every new data center Amazon builds improves latency, reliability, and capacity for cloud services. And the sustainability innovations being tested in Mississippi could eventually roll out to European facilities too. So, yes, recycled sewage water cooling your AI. Welcome to the future.
And on that aromatic note, today we covered Anthropic's massive cybersecurity initiative with Claude Mythos Preview, China's national AI education strategy, Intel's gallium nitride chiplet breakthrough, AI detecting diseases before symptoms appear, XAI suing Colorado over AI regulation, and Amazon's $25 billion data center bet in Mississippi.
Want to know more or react? Visit stateoftech.eu or email us at info@doorzetters.net. State of Tech, the tech world in 15 minutes.